Imagine the sound of echoing bagpipes through the misty hills, the swirl of tartan kilts, and the fierce spirit in the Highland Games. These are not just scenes from Scotland, but also from the heart of North Carolina. The rich traditions of the Scottish Highlands have been preserved and celebrated here in North Carolina, shaping our culture, our festivals, and our sense of identity. According to NCpedia, one of the biggest groups that settled North Carolina were the Highland Scots. There was lots of economic hardship and political unrest. These people made the journey across the ocean and settled North Carolina, bringing with them their culture, traditions, their food, their music, and dance. In this speech, I'm going to go over three main ideas. First, the traditions of the Scottish Highlands. Second, the settling of North Carolina. And third, how their culture has had lasting impact on our state. The Scottish Highlands have given the world many beautiful traditions. Part of the Highland identity is the clans. Clans were a community that were bound together by kinship and loyalty. They were distinguishable one from another because of their tartans. According to Scotland.org, tartan patterns were associated with specific regions or districts, but over time, they became associated with specific clans, symbolizing the family loyalty and tradition. Music centered around bagpipe is a foundation of Scottish tradition. Bagpipes have a soulful, unmistakable sound. Let's take a listen. Its music was part of ceremonies that were held in both celebration and solemn gatherings. The Scotland Info Guide explains that bagpipes have been played in Scotland for over 1,000 years. They were once used to inspire troops before battle. The Highland Games remain still Scotland's most known tradition. They are lively competitions where the Scottish people display, show off their athleticism and their pride in their culture. As Wikipedia's article of the Highland Games explains, those events are much more than just sport. They're a celebration of their community and their heritage, and they gather people from all over the globe. The Highland Scots coming to North Carolina was a journey of resilience and hope. Following the Battle of Culloden in 1746, many Scots found themselves having a hard time feeding their family, keeping their farms, and being persecuted for their beliefs. They wanted a safe place. NCpedia explains that in 1739, a group of about 350 Scots traveled across the ocean, came to the colony, and settled North Carolina all up and down the Cape Fear River. This began a great migration that lasted for decades. Thousands of Scots came. The North Carolina History website explains that settlers from Scotland were drawn to its rolling hills, the rich soil, and the climate that reminded them of their homeland. As they settled the area, the Highland Scots helped shape the culture. They built churches such as the Presbyterian Church that's found here in North Carolina. They found towns and farms, schools and businesses, and their economy thrived with their newfound freedom. The Scottish influence of North Carolina can be found everywhere. Most well known is the heritage celebration known as the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games. It is held every year in Linville, and according to Wikipedia's article on the event, they are one of the biggest Highland Games in the United States. Thousands of people from all over the globe gather to take part. There's lively competitions, music, dancing, food, and storytelling. Storytelling is a very strong skill known for Scots. The Gaelic language is no longer spoken here commonly in North Carolina, but can be found in folk song and story traditions in the Appalachian Mountains. The Presbyterian Church has deep ties to Scottish settlers, and their churches remain in many communities. Towns were named after places in Scotland, such as Inverness, Aberdeen, and Glasgow. The traditions and the culture of the Scottish Highlander make up the cultural bones of what is now North Carolina. Through their festivals and their games, their folklore and their music, they have given us who live here a rich heritage. What began in the rolling hills of Scotland enriched the hills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and their influence has lasted for centuries. Let us remember the old Scottish proverb which says, "A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, or culture is like a tree without roots." By honoring and preserving these traditions, we tap into the resilient and brave nature of those Highland Scots and use it for inspiration for the future. Thank you.